This morning I have selected for my discourse something that probably affects us all, and it's what's on your mind today. And I say to you, in all sincerity and honesty, that no matter what is on your mind today, the philosophy of spiritualism can cure it, satisfy it, or create an awakening within you to make the change that is necessary in your life. Just think about it. How long have you mulled over the situation? How long have you tried to change it, tried to make it work, or tried to just make it go away? Whatever your situation is today that might be troubling to you, it's nothing new. Many people before you have gone through the same instantaneous thing that has caused them a problem. I'd like to share with you the words of Gabon when he said, "Your living is determined not so much by what life brings to you, but by the attitude you bring to life. Not so much by what happens to you, but the way your mind looks at what has happened." And I think that's important because we need to understand that we are the creator of that which happens in our life in most instances. I can assure you that when you take the philosophy of spiritualism and put it in your heart as well as in your mind, you will find that you can be in tune with the infinite. You can touch the source. You can receive your answers. And that's important too, because we need to understand that this universe that we live in is in perfect order. We know that as it has come into being, it operates, and it operates in order. There is not a rhyme or reason for it operating. It is the natural law that keeps it in being and keeps it in line. And it is that same natural law that can change our lives if we bring it into our mind and consider it and then apply it. You know, as I said, the universe is in order. It doesn't change its order. When was the last time you saw the stars and the planets decide to exchange places? Didn't happen. When did it not rain, but the sun would follow thereafter? It usually happens. And then we know that spring always follows the winter. It never changes places. So we know that with this law of order, we too as human beings are responsible for putting our lives in tune with the infinite and putting it in order. You know, things have a way of just falling in place. And a paper fell before me that just made me think how important that law of order is. And what it said was, when we enter into the spirit world, we first have a review of ourselves. And after that review, we are then introduced to two major laws. The law of cause, the first cause, which brings us cause and effect and teaches us that we do reap what we sow. And the second is the law of order. Everything is in order in the universe. Are we ready for that? Most of us have not put our lives in order. We have not put the surroundings around us in order. We have been too busy. So we have to change our way of doing things if we want things to work properly. I don't know who said those words because it wasn't identified, but I do know this. Thomas Aquinas once said, "All that is true, by whomsoever it has been said, it had its origin in the spirit." And so I accept it as truth. Today's reality. Where are we today? We live in the moment, don't we? And we need to live in the now. But as we live in this current time, we need to be preparing for our future. What is it in the specific moment that you must put in place to change conditions around you? Putting it off until tomorrow is not an option. Now is the time. We learn in our philosophy to face reality. We learn that we must do what we must do, no matter how uncomfortable it might be for us at the moment. We must put this information, these ideas, and these thoughts into our mental computer, in our mind, and let it sit there. You know, we hit the save button, and let it sit there for a while, and let it germinate, and let us bring us an understanding of how we can alter conditions to make our life more pleasant. You know, you've often heard, tell it like it is. You know, my favorite pioneer. And it's quite true. And it's true for each of us. You know, sometimes we do not say what needs to be said because we're afraid of hurting someone's feelings. We're afraid of making them uncomfortable. But sometimes something needs to be said. And we need to say it in the right way so that we can be helpful. And we can help them understand the situation. Each of us, no matter what situation we might be in or what problem that might face us, we need to put ourselves on the other side of the table and to say, what would I want that person to do towards me in that situation? And then it is easier to understand. We have to come together and we have to discuss, we have to rationalize, and we have to smooth the wrinkles that are there. Again, I say, spiritualist philosophy is the answer. You know, we could spend the whole day talking about the spiritualist philosophy, but I'd like to review just a few major points this morning. Spiritualism established the free thinkers. It was spiritualism that told us, think for yourself, don't blindly follow. Become a leader. Spiritualism's God is the source of all the elements of the universe. And we know that all of them are in order, and they all work together, and they never separate. They're always in tune with each other. It gives us a lesson. Spiritualism recognizes that spirit is indestructible. It may change form, but it never disappears fully. Spiritualism has changed the orthodox God, a being in heaven on a throne. It has brought us the understanding of a God that is out there in the universe, that is energy, that is available for all of us to tap into, that it is a part of us. It is within as well as without. Spiritualism has taught this reality because we know from those in spirit that there is this source that has created all that is. In science, God is a reality. Is not a reality, but it is a principle. And we need to understand that orthodoxy, spiritualism, and science all are saying the same thing, but using different words. And that's why we must use the law of tolerance and the understanding of others, because we are all one. We are all in our rightful place today, every one of us. And we are there because we need the lesson that is being taught to us at this particular time. Spiritualism understands that God is spirit, and we are created in that image, and therefore we are spirit while in a physical body. Spiritualism understands we are created in that image, and we are happy to know that we are a part of that divine spark. And that spark is what guides us, our daily consciousness. Spirit has walked into many churches and has whispered in the ear of many clerics. They don't tell you, but they hear it. Spiritualism has opened the doorway to knowledge. It has told us that there is more to this universe than we are aware of. Shakespeare, was it, said, there are more things, Horatio, than are in your mind or in your dream, or whatever he said. Spiritualism became an uplifting influence to the people of the world. It removed the fear of death. It brought us into an understanding of a continuity of life. Spiritualism gave us the indication that life in the spirit world is more than we can even dream of. But you know, along with what spiritualism has done, and there is a long list, more than I have said, but spiritualism is also a teacher. It's a teacher in that it has taught us progressive evolution. We are not tomorrow exactly as we were today. We continue to change outwardly and inwardly. We are a duality. We are spirit in a physical form, and heaven and hell are nothing but states of mind, states of consciousness. It's that makes us know that life is a continuity. Spiritualism teaches that we're often visited by the Spirit. Many times we do not sense it, we do not know it, but Spirit is round about us, helping us, trying to guide us, trying to make the path for us to walk down smoothly. Spiritualism has taught us also of the natural law. And that natural law has done many things for us. But one of the major things it has done is removed the idea of miracles. We know that everything works in accordance with natural law. And if there is something that is happening that we do not understand, it's probably a law we haven't yet learned. But we are open-minded, and we will know it eventually. Spiritualism teaches the complete cultivation of humanity, physically, spiritually, and mentally. Spiritualism removed the negatives and put the positives in line. You know, all those things we say, get rid of fear, anger, hate, put in love, caring, understanding, and all of the positive guidance. Spiritualism taught us that it isn't in need of a creed. The guidance is natural law, pure and simple. Spiritualism has taught us that salvation is attainable by all of us, and it's by following the law and living in accordance with the law that we create our reality of salvation. It has taught us the practice of education and uplifting our minds by elevating that consciousness and coming into higher truths. It has restored the spiritual gifts that have been stamped out of orthodoxy. And that's kind of odd, you know, because while we are looked at as something different because we communicate with those on the other side of life, those same people have the Bible that tells them exactly that. But they seem to ignore it. They just don't grasp it. Spiritualism has taught us that we are a bridge between the two worlds, and that bridge is one that the medium handles in bringing messages and voices from the other side of life. Yes, spiritualism has brought us a lot, taught us a lot, but it's what we do with it that matters. It doesn't help us if we just let it sit on a shelf. It's our job to do what we need to do today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. We need to start. We need to express to everyone what spiritualism is and what spiritualism is not. We need to also express what a medium does and what a medium does not do. We need to stay in communication with the spirit world. One of the people that lived close to us many years ago in Casadega, Florida, his name is Wilbur Hull, he said, and I quote, "Religion that had worshipped a nebulous past was replaced by spiritualism that dealt entirely with a governable present. It needs no authoritative book, It goes to nature, the source for its answers. It has replaced pious worship. It is in attunement with self-realization. And those words are true. Wilbur was very philosophical, and most of his teachings came directly from Spirit. Today, there's no reason for us not being aware. There's no reason for us not to be able to know. And that is just not in our religious and our spiritual life, but in the world. We have all of it in this informational age. We have the television. We have the internet. We have Facebook, Twitter, and all those nice things, tweets and what have you. We have emails and iPods, and we have GPS. We have all of these things to give us information. And so there's no reason to say, I don't know. Rather say, I'll find it. Science has proven that it will not stagnate. And it is going on in this new world that we are entering this year. It is going to go on in its exploration, and it's going to face the great adventure of what is before it. Science has proven that there is a continuous state of motion, and they have termed that state of motion vibration. We are familiar with vibration because we know that vibration is what helps us attune to the spirit side of life. We know that it is necessary in mediumship. And we also know it's necessary in a continuity of life. We keep moving. We don't stop. We say thoughts create things, but do we believe it? Are we honest with ourselves? Do we take the time to lay out a floor plan for our life? Do we take time to shut down the chatter and the clutter of our mind and be in the silence and come into the oneness and into the presence? I'll do it tomorrow. That's not an option. We must start today. Until we get in tune with the infinite, we will not have a change in our life. We can do whatever we want to do. We can try everything. But I'm here to tell you, unless you allow the Spirit, the influence of the Spirit, to work within your life, you will not get the changes you want. Because it takes time to be in the silence, to quiet the mind, to reach into that oneness, to reach into that feeling of being, and being secure. And so, in this informational age, spiritualism is going to step up to its plate. It's going to swing wide its doors, it's going to embrace all people, and it's going to encompass everything that is. It's going to do everything in balance because it understands the natural law of balance. As we go about in today's world, we need to recognize that while mediumship is very important in spiritualism, because it does give us the opportunity to prove the continuity of life, in this age it's going to become secondary. The philosophy is going to step up to its plate, and it's going to lead us. With the philosophy, we have peace of mind. With the philosophy, we have an attitude of gratitude. With the philosophy, we move forward. We don't sit still. With the philosophy, we find the God of our understanding. We lead ourselves. The philosophy is important, and more important than it has ever been. In this day and age, people are seeking, people are searching, people are hurting. We hear the economy, we hear the wars, we hear the politicians, and we just get all down in the dumps. We get into the lower vibration. We need to keep ourselves elevated into the higher consciousness, and the only way we can do that is by sitting in the silence, by taking time to be in tune with the infinite. We need to know that spiritualism is going to be a primary force. It's going to be one that is going to lead. And it's all starting now. We're at a new beginning, we're at a new threshold, and we're going to take off by promoting the truths and the natural law. We're going to tell it like it is. Because if we don't, people out there who have never heard remain in the quagmire of all the mess they're in. And the only way we can help them is by telling them the truth and the facts that we know. We also know that the law of attraction is important because as we live, we attract. And if we want the higher consciousness and if we want those things that make life easier and make us feel better and heal our bodies and minds, we have to accept the truths that have been presented to us. We are in an age where things are changing rapidly. We're in an age where time is moving fast. We're in an age where we need to take hold and get a grip of ourselves and get a grip of what life is and where we're going. There's not time to sit idly by. If you do, you're going to find yourself with more problems because this age is demanding movement, action, knowledge, expression. It's demanding that we accept there is something greater than ourselves and that we allow that power, that force, that source to guide us and to direct us and to lead us into the truth. We are in a place now where we can find anything we want to find because of the informational age. And because of that, we have no excuse. We can't say, I'll do it tomorrow. I say it again. It's not an option. Today is the time, today is the hour. And now is the time that you need to allow the spiritualist philosophy that you have heard over and over and over again to become one. We need to take the save button and bring it back up on the screen because we have to get it before us. We have to see it. We have to believe it. We have to live it. And with that, I'd like to leave these words with you. It's a quote from our missionary, Dr. James M. Peoples, and he said it all very well. He said, spiritualism is established in the law. No, we'll start again. Spiritualism is rooted in God, and God is spirit. It is grounded in nature, and nature is the garment of God. It is established in the law that the will of God manifests in energy and in form. It is the science of all sciences. It is the philosophy of all philosophies, the true wisdom, the religion of the ages. Whatever is on your mind today that may be troubling, let go of it. Let yourself go into a quiet moment and feel the presence. Feel the spirit. Feel the energy of the universe. And you've heard it said before, know that I am God. That energy, that spirit, walks with you, beside you, behind you, and in front of you, if you will allow it. And so be it.